Hi everyone, it's Amber O'Joy here. Welcome to my page. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Anthea Spark. She's a soul-centered coach, kinesiologist and psychotherapist. She is a solo mum with two young daughters and an entrepreneur and businesswoman. She has a following of over 18,000 people on her personal Facebook page, her soul-centered coach page. 1,700 followers on Instagram and around about 300 followers on her YouTube channel. She is the founder of Healing Little You with over 80,000 followers on her page, and in her private Healing Little You group there was over 2,600 members. She is the founder of the Infinite Field of Ascension, Divine Feminine Empowerment, Divine Masculine Empowerment, which also has over 8,500 followers. She's the founder of Become the Queen, Become the King, What I See Is Me, The Truth Revolution, and The Judgment Detox. Anthea Spark, what an honor it is to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amber. What a lovely introduction.
You're an amazing woman. What a busy woman you are.
Thank you.
Okay, I've got some questions to ask you. So
Sure.
The first question I would like to ask you is, what excites you when you wake up every morning?
Well, great question. When I wake up in the morning, what excites me is seeing my children. It's, they're very, kind of still a bit sleepy, and they're very sweet and softly spoken. And that's what gets me out of bed every morning. Like I'm excited to see them and spend time with them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I've got 3 sons myself, and I know what it's like. They're, as much as they're not sleepy little heads anymore and young like yours, they're grumpy teenagers, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of fun getting kick-started for the day.
Yeah.
As a solo mum and a businesswoman, and I can relate with this, being a solo parent as well, and running your own business, even if for the mums out there that not necessarily running their own businesses, but they have a job to go to and they go to work and all that sort of thing, it comes with many challenges, of course. So my question to you is, what do you do to nurture yourself and take care of yourself after having such busy days with your clients and your family and everything? What do you do to take that time out and nurture and care for yourself?
I try to start my day with that self-care and nurture. So every morning I'll listen to an affirmation track, and I find that is really important to me because it helps center me for the day. It helps to get my mindset in the right place. And then I'll either do some breath work or I'll do a little bit of exercise. Right? I could always do a lot more exercise.
Oh, can't we all?
But I do that, and I do little things throughout the day that are really nurturing for me, like going out and grabbing a coffee, going for a walk, that kind of thing. So recently I've started taking baths, which is a big deal for me.
Lovely.
And I've never really enjoyed baths before, so I've been doing that. And I also have some practitioners that I go see that are helping me heal different things and are opening up my mind to different modalities in the healing arena. And I find that really nurturing. The other thing I do is catch up with friends.
Beautiful.
That's kind of, that's what I enjoy doing.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Now, we touched upon before Healing Little You. Could you please tell me what it is that you've discovered about Healing Little You, and can you please describe to the viewers what that actually entails? What does that mean to heal little you?
Yeah.
Can you go into more depth about that, please?
Sure. So what I've discovered in helping my clients heal their inner child is that it's really the key to setting you free as an adult. So I believe, and in my experience with working in this way for so long, is that anything that holds us back in our adult life is directly linked to some kind of childhood trauma or wound or situation, right? So because when we're little, and we come into the world, that's when we create our belief systems. So between the ages of 0 and 6, we create our belief systems, and they're based on the things we see adults do and the things we hear adults say, and then our own little interpretations of those situations. And that's what we use to create our beliefs. And then we create a set of rules that we're going to live our life by. Okay. And that's also based on the things we see adults do. So that's why a lot of people essentially become like their mother or their father. Okay. Because when you're a little kid, you copy everything mum and daddy's doing. Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we're absorbing everything that's going on. Okay. And so sometimes those beliefs can serve us, and they can serve us well for a long time. But then when we get into our adult life, 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, those beliefs and the way that we've lived may not be serving us anymore. They might actually be hindering us. And so it's really important to go in and tap into your inner child and see what it is those beliefs are. Now, if you've had it could be small trauma or severe trauma, it could be someone said something to you as a kid and it stayed with you, that younger part of you will, what I call, haunt you until they get what they want from you. Okay, and they will literally hold your arms, your hands behind your back, and they will hold you back from fully stepping into your power or stepping into that adult version of you that you always think about becoming. And so what I've discovered is, as I've taken people back through this process that I created, is that they begin to set themselves free, and they begin to be able to transform their lives in certain parts really quickly. Right? And because what we're doing is when we go back into meditation, we're actually removing the memory of stress from the body. So the programs that run in our unconscious mind have certain memories attached to them. Okay. And so when we go back and we change, we're not actually changing what happened, but we're adding like a new timeline of support. So when we do that in a meditation, the mind goes, oh, I can let go of that memory of stress anymore, because it's not true, right? And it changes the energy in the body, and you begin to feel energetically lighter. And so that sets you free to feel less lonely, or to change the dynamics that you have with certain people in your life, or to feel more confident. Like, there's a whole range of things that you can feel when you begin to heal your inner child.
That sounds so amazing, Anthea.
Yeah, it's great.
And from personal experience too, I have experienced some of your work and your healings and your programs, and it has completely changed my life within. As you can see behind me, there's my little Amber Joy. Yeah. She's in the live Zoom with us tonight.
Yeah, excellent. And I know, and it's been my pleasure working with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You also have some other programs that you have written. Now, Anthea Spark, she's a very amazing woman. She has created some of her own affirmation tracks that people listen to, especially in the Healing Little You community. There's many that they can tap into, various different parts, or just a general calming and healing and soothing of their bodies. She's also has some activations and meditation tracks, which are quite phenomenal and profound, and take you to different places, and where you can tune in and tap into your higher awarenesses and tap into your higher self. Now, some of your other programs too, you have Freeing the Ties That Bind, The Judgment Detox, The Path of the Warrior, and Calling in Your King. The freeing of the ties that bind sounds very interesting to me, Anthea. Can you please just share a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, sure. So Freeing the Ties That Bind it was written by this lady called Crystal Phillips, I think. And what she did is she in her late 50s, she actually discovered that we can connect to our higher consciousness, to our higher self. And through that, we can actually download a lot of information and free ourselves from a lot of situations that have held us back from the past. And so she designed this process. It's a visualization again, and I'm big on, big on visualizations and meditations. And when I did this program, it was about 15 years ago, it was so powerful for me, and it stayed with me all this time. So there was only a few practitioners that used her work in their work. And then when I started working, I was remembering it was actually she called it cutting the ties that bind. And I incorporated her method and I added some of my own methods in it. And that's why I've now called it Freeing the Ties That Bind. And what it does is it helps you cut the etheric cords that bind you to people, addictions, relationships. So, when we're in our mother's womb, we're connected to her through the umbilical cord. And then when we're born, we create these etheric cords, these energetic cords with our parents, our grandparents, and the people who are closest to us. And that's why sometimes when you think of someone and then they call you and you said, oh, I was just thinking of you, and they're like, oh yeah, I was thinking of you too. That's why I called you. You're actually communicating through your etheric cord. Okay. But sometimes those connections are not healthy. They can be toxic, especially if, you had a really terrible relationship with somebody and you wanted to free yourself from that. So this program would be really beneficial for that. So historically, I've taken people through cutting from their mother, their father, their auntie, their uncle. And it's not about removing that person from your life, but rather freeing yourself from the relationship that was so that a new relationship can be formed. Yeah. One where you're in your adult power, where you're not taking on other people's beliefs or energy through that etheric cord.
Yes? It sounds amazing. It sounds very highly, really beneficial for people to be able to experience these things and have a deeper awareness, and that they do have the power and that they understand why these things are happening and why things play out within their lives and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It is. It's really transformational. And it's like when you get to an end of a movie and you go, oh, that's why that happened, because that person did This is what Freeing of the Ties does for you, but almost instantly you start getting flashbacks and awarenesses of the past and seeing situations and things through a different filter.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. And just one more thing too, could you just touch upon the path of the warrior? That sounds very amazing.
Yeah.
The path of the warrior. Wow.
So the Path of the Warrior is my new Healing Little You program. It's a 16-week program. It's been 4 years in the making, pretty much. I knew that I had to write a program to help people heal their inner child. It only just came together very recently that, all of the steps that someone would need to take in order to really connect deeply with their inner child. So it's a 16-week program, and it's designed for anyone who really wants to take the plunge and really transform their life and heal their inner child. And the reason why I call it the Path of the Warrior is because it takes a lot of courage to put your hand up and say, hey, I'm not happy and I want to change my life. And some of the stuff that we do when we heal our inner child can be really confronting, and you'll have to tap into your vulnerability and release suppressed emotions and undo, your conditioning and learn new ways of being. And that can be really challenging, it can be really challenging to do that. So so I'm really excited. It starts in November, and I'm looking forward to running the first round of it.
It sounds fabulous, Anthea. It sounds very exciting, especially there are a lot of people out there, and I can see that with, out in the community and everything, there are a lot of people and they're hurting. And sometimes some of them don't even realize why.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't even realize that they're hurting. They're just sad and angry and everything.
Yeah.
But to be able to take ownership and to turn and look inwards. And, how many times have we all been out there being consumers and everything, looking and looking for external validations or blaming external situations and everything. But all too often we're too afraid to even admit and turn inwards and say, hey, let's take responsible for our own lives and our own reactions to things. And I'm a firm believer that we are supposed to be here living a life of joy, of abundance, of prosperity, everything amazing. You know, we're not supposed to be living in a world of fear and sadness and all of those negative emotions and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
So, you know, your work, I think what you do is truly amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm so blessed to have you in my life. And, you know, I've been through some of your work and gone through the past few years and healed a lot of stuff within myself. I mean, when we first met, I was a bit of a mess, you know, and here I am now sort of thriving and stepping into my own power and having that courage and to be the woman who I'm supposed to be.
Yes, you are.
So thank you, Anthea. And just on a final note, if you had one piece of advice to give somebody, what would it be?
It would be to please be kinder to yourself, right? So often in life we don't always get dealt a really good hand of cards, right? And so often we will use that hand of cards to define our whole life, and we start judging ourselves and criticizing ourselves and being so hard on ourselves and putting all this pressure on ourselves, right? And then we don't succeed and we don't thrive and we wonder why. And if you could just change that one thing of you being kinder to yourself, of you know, not beating yourself up when something goes wrong, not calling yourself names, not criticizing yourself, not judging yourself for the past. If you can just change that one thing, your life will begin to change. Life will actually become easier for you. And so that's actually vital when I work with my clients. When they come to me and they ask me, well, what should I do? Where should I start? I always say, start there.
That's a great piece of advice, and that's a beautiful, beautiful starting point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anthea Spark, it has been such an honour and a privilege to have you here on my page as I've interviewed you today and get people to know a little bit about you. If anybody's interested, there will be a link in the comments below, and you can find and reach out to Anthea if you've got any troubles or needs or need some help with your healing journey. Thank you so much. I wish you all a beautiful day. Anthea, thank you. I love you.
Thank you,
I love
Amber.
you all. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Amber. Bye, everyone.
Bye.